So
maybe some gym once in a while as well, Ben, which of course I can't wait to hear. Guys, welcome to game number 1 between Pandatank and Golden. In the bottom left corner we have from South Africa. That's right, guys. He is a GM level player who played on the European server from Africa, a different continent than we're used to seeing players represent. It's Pandatank, currently training in the Razor House under the house of MrBitter. And in the top right, under the house of Quantic, we have Golden, the recent acquisition, formerly from Team Light. Placed very well at Home Story Cup just a few months ago. Other than that, though, Golden hasn't had too many notable finishes other than a few Code S appearances.
Golden's a great Zerg, man. He's one of those online heroes that dominates the daily cups, that consistently does well in the smaller events.
That's right.
And he's had a couple okay performances at larger events, but he's not quite raised himself to the highest echelon of Zerg play. Pandatank is a guy that is not as well known throughout the scene. He's from South Africa, as you pointed out. He played on the European server to a very high level, which is pretty damn impressive considering the latency that he had to deal with from South Africa to Europe, which is why I invited him to come live at my house. I said, hey, this is a very exceptional achievement, given your circumstances. Let's see how well you can do playing locally, playing on NA, from NA, playing close to Korea, and, well, relatively close to Korea in terms of connecting.
I think it's the closest you can get to Korea from the USA.
Without being in Hawaii.
Do you think Hawaii has good internet, though?
I have no idea.
I think the latency would be worse.
Hawaiian internet is probably like you
have a couple coconuts routed up by
you dial up. There's some guy in a little canoe answers the phone, paddles across the ocean, plugs it into the wall,
and throws out like a little fishing rod so you can get a little bit better signal. Gosh. They don't really need internet.
Why
Hawaii,
would you
though.
be online in Hawaii in the first place?
They
Let's
don't
be
really
completely
need it.
honest. So yeah, Pandatank's only been here for a little while, but he's already showing some pretty good successes as he is in the round of 4.
Yeah.
North American Season 4 wild card qualifier. He's going to go with some sort of Forge expand on Entombed Valley. This is a great Protoss map to start on. This is a best of 5 though, so just picking up a win here and then cheesing in a second game will not be good enough to qualify him. He's got to win 3 maps, and that's going to be very tough against somebody as practiced and as experienced in these tournament settings as Golden.
Golden's also an incredibly quick player. You can see him just playing at enormous speed. I've been able to watch Golden play for weeks because I remember the first actually in the first month that I was here at the NASL, Golden was practicing at using our computers, and he was using my computer, so I just pretty much sat behind him and watched him play for about 2-3 weeks straight. And he plays incredibly quick, and he's very comfortable Zerg versus Protoss and Zerg versus Terran. His weakest matchup he feels is Zerg versus Zerg. So he's pretty much he's avoided most of the Koreans in that regard, because we do know Symbol, Revival, Ragnarok, they're all on the other half of the bracket, so Golden must be feeling very confident. And it's interesting too, because Pandatank's the only foreigner really left other than sort of, so I think Golden must be feeling very, very happy about that.
Yeah, I think Golden should be pretty confident here. Pandatank's not a guy he's going to know a whole lot about, just given the fact that he's pretty much completely new to the North American scene. But he's still Protoss, and as you said, Zerg versus Protoss right now is in a place where most Zergs are feeling comfortable. Golden, of course, is no exception. Pandatank's getting a second cannon here. Not really sure why he opted to do that. He's scouted all of Golden's main and natural, and he does not see any gas. So this second cannon is a little bit unnecessary, but he's just doing the super safe thing.
Yeah, and Pandatank plays a very safe style, generally speaking. I don't really see him all in over the past few games I've been able to watch over shoulder as well. And Pandatank actually has beaten several Koreans to get to this spot. He's beaten Value, he's beaten Sting. That's a Protoss and a Terran player. I guess he's really had to prove himself against a really strong Korean Zerg, especially online. Now, again, there's no latency issues. Golden is playing from Oceanside, California, so these guys are only about an hour and a half away by car. And that's pretty much, no excuses at all between these two players. It's just a pure skill matchup.
Absolutely. 4-gate opening for Pandatank. He is taking his 3rd and 4th gases, which doesn't really doesn't point towards 2-base aggression necessarily. I think, in fact, we're going to be seeing Pandatank just kind of turtle out to 3 bases and do something from that sort of good economic footing.
Agree. Golden also getting his Ro4 at a pretty reasonable time, but he's even skipping an evolution chamber. And he's not even rushing for a layer really quickly either. So I think Golden's just going to play this very minimally, just trying to skip by while getting as many drones as possible. What do you think about Golden's opening so far?
Looks great, man. It's a very solid opening. He's got a good Overlord Scout over here into the main base of Pandatank, sees those 3 additional gateways, knows exactly what he's playing against. And, you know, he's not really in a position where he has to worry about much of anything. He's got 61 drones, a solid 3-base economy. He's establishing his infrastructure. He's getting the macro hatch. He's getting the upgrades going. He's getting a couple of roaches out just for safety. Golden's doing everything right here on Entombed Valley. And honestly, Dan, this is pointing towards one of those really longer games where both players go up to 4 bases, 5 bases, and round out their tech and get those big ultimate in-game armies.
Yeah, especially since Pandatank expands to a 3rd base and just playing this very slow. He is getting hallucination, which I like. If you delay the robo that long, scout information is very valuable in terms of what you need to expect. But just like you said, Ben, it could be, I think it will be one of those long games, especially since Golden, if you see that quick 3rd, you just take a 4th base, tech up the hive, and everything else is pretty peachy.
Guys, we're broadcasting this game live. These guys are playing right now. There is a 2-minute delay on the stream, so that's all pretty cool stuff. And we have no idea what the result is because it's live. So I'm so just I'm waiting with bated breath to see what happens here. Obviously, I'm very hopeful for Pandatank. It would be really cool to see him qualify for not just the Season 4 wildcards, but also for Season 5.
Yes, I mean, well, because the implications of the open tournament is that people can sign up from anywhere, so it's just really fresh to see somebody that we never expected, even dating back to NASL Season 1, where no one knew about this guy named Puma and just kind of came out of nowhere from the open bracket and won the entire thing. That's kind of like the stories that we really enjoy having over the course of the season. You have the storylines of the 45 players, but then you also have the one vigilante that comes out of nowhere and just kills everyone.
Both these guys still playing very passively. Golden doing exactly what we hypothesized, getting his hive, making more drones, taking more bases, throwing the Spire down, rounding out his tech. This is going to be a very turtley Zerg style. Pandatank picked up Hallucinate. I love that. And he's using these hallucinated phoenixes to great effect. He's going to be able to spot this building Spire. He's going to be able to spot this morphing hive, so he'll know exactly what his opponent is doing. And he's doing something else that I like a lot. He's throwing down the Dark Shrine. Now, this is something that I feel like Protoss players don't do often enough, even at this point in the metagame. Will the Overseer see the Dark Shrine? Yes, he will. Yes, he will. So
he may have seen it, but
he
at the
saw
same
it.
time,
Immediately starts spores.
Does he know? Oh, he does know.
Immediately starts spores.
Very nice.
That said, you know, I still love the fact that that Pandatank is throwing down the Dark Shrine, because DTs can give you so much potential map control late in a game. You don't have to go all in with them. You don't have to make a ton of them. Just a couple of DTs represent huge threats to your opponents.
Yep, I completely agree. But now we have to. Now we're entering a point in the game where, if Pandatank wants to go for some kind of hive timing, he needs to move soon, because you can see how aggressively Golden is going for a greater Spire. He's not even getting upgrades, really. He's just starting +1 and +2 on his melee and missiles. So Pantatank's going to move out, but he's been really skipping out a lot of army as well. 130 supply is a little bit on the weaker side, and he doesn't necessarily have that many strong hitting units. He just has a lot of Stalkers and Sentries. He can kind of incorporate Archons if he wanted to, which would make it really strong against controlling the AoE, but still he's going to just use them Dark Templars to move across the middle of the map while he pressures another base.
A lot of Infestors already out for Golden. Pandatank going to have to be very, very careful about how he engages here. Ling's coming down from behind. Some okay force fields. Not sure if it's going to be enough, though, with those Infestors. Huge fungals being landed by Golden. This is looking very bad for Pandatank.
Yeah, he lost so many of the Sentries. Needs to kind of get out of there, although the Dark Templars, they do get into the natural, and they're killing off the drones. Actually, a lot of drones dropping. Pandatank still manages to stabilize as well. Golden Supply is actually not that healthy, considering that he would want to spend his resources on the Greater Spire units, but he has to make more Zerglings.
More Infested Terrans going down. A couple Fungals being cast. Infested Terrans may be able to kill this War Prism. No, they're actually backing off. Miscontrol there by Golden. Supply-wise, it's pretty even. A cool pre-Broodlord timing here from Pandatank. Still not convinced that he's got enough to stop this Zerg army, though.
Yeah, I mean, Pandatank will lose almost all of his units, but he's done some pretty good damage, Ben. I think... I mean, look at Golden's drone count. He's lost so many drones at the third, the main, and the natural. And he's now down to just 53 now. He doesn't have that much larva either because he's been missing injects. Queens have been pulled off. They've been getting killed. And it's not like he can push out that many units, including Corruptors. And his resource count is high, but he can't spend it.
Infestor energy is also kind of low. Not much energy for things like Fungal. And Pandatank will continue with this aggression. 110 supply against 120 supply. 30 drones were killed in the midst of that attacking, Dan. Those DTs were incredibly effective, showing that just detection, not quite enough sometimes. Here we go. Pandatank wants to pick another fight. Fungal is still not in play. Those Infestors need just a couple more seconds. Infested Terran's going to be cast instead of Fungal, and that may be a small mistake. We're going to have to wait and see. Good Blink Stalker micro from Pandatank as more units are going to stream in.
Yes, a couple Stalkers are also warping in, and Pandatank really picking a nice high ground here. The Infested Terrans really can't even get into the mix. The Roaches are backing off. Pandatank also does have pretty decent upgrades at +2 and 1. Doesn't have +3 yet, but he's been really pushing for this 3-base attack. This 4th base is in jeopardy now. One Broodlord is
it's a bad
morphing.
place for a Broodlord. I don't think we're... He may actually enter the fray. There's still just so little energy on these Infestors, and that Broodlord, does not quite fall. Oh, wow. Look at these Zerglings just tearing through the Stalkers. Pandatank's going to have to micro a little bit here. This is basically a 3-base all-in from Pandatank, and one of the real questions is how long can he sustain this? He's running out of money in his main. His natural is also quite thin.
Yeah, but Golden's economy is not even that thriving either. He's on low amount of drones compared to his opponent, and he doesn't even have that much gas coming in, which is going to catch up to him eventually. He is making more Infestors, but the one Broodlord is pretty much the only siege unit. Nice blink with just a couple of Stalkers to take it out. Pandatank controlling this pretty well. It's just that Golden has a lot of units. He's forced to burn his energy on Infested Terrans.
Oh, but Golden's supply keeps climbing, and Pandatank just stays right even, man. It's 50 army supply against 100. If you look at the units tab, there's 21 Roaches, 8 Infestors, and a lot of Zerglings, and those Lings are all going to come crashing into this Stalker army right now. This is not the best place to fight for Pandatank. He's got a micro backwards, but I don't think he's going to matter. There's so many Roaches and Lings and Infestors, even without energy, are proving to be a big problem. Nice Fungal there with the one Infestor that did have energy, and Pandatank taps out. Good game gets called. Great defense by Golden. Pretty interesting 3-base all-in from Pandatank. Almost worked. Maybe would have worked if that Overseer didn't spot the Dark Shrine.
Potentially, yeah, because then the Dark Templars would have been able to do an incredible amount of damage, not just kill off the Queens and drones, but even work on some tech. What's also really cool is that it was a Colossus-free PvZ, an Immortal-free PvZ.
A Robo-free, really.
It was just nothing but just Twilight Council, which is really cool to see the Protoss player explore that tech, because even Creator, who goes Colossus free PvZ, incorporates some Immortals. I never really saw that kind of attempt, just like raw Stalker Sentry Archon push from a Protoss player.
Yeah, that reminded me a little bit of Kiwi's old play style, where he would do stuff very similar to that, but add in the Mothership to recall that army out when it would get in trouble. So, cool, man. A little bit of a throwback there. Game was brought to you guys by Audible.com. Download and listen to a bestseller today, and do it over at nasl.tv/p/audible. We're going to take a short break. We'll be right back with game number 2, Pandatank versus Golden.